10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
What's up, everybody out there in the Competition Plus world? This is the second episode of the Power Hour brought to you by Competition Plus. I am one of your hosts, Mr. Slammin Sam. I hope you guys are ready. I hope you guys have your seatbelts on, your tray tables up, and your seats in the upright position. And now to my co-host, the Monday morning racer, Lee Kraft. How's it going, buddy?
Man, I am doing spectacular tonight. I have been here at the headquarters of strutmasters.com, strutting around all day with my shades on, waiting for Competition Plus Power Hour. Folks, great show lined up right now for this evening. We're going to be bringing the boss on here in just a few moments. We've got our pit insider, Jeff Arend. Hey, the co-hosts, myself, Monday Morning Racer, Sam and Slam. We're going to be doing some chatting on drag racing, and Justin Ashley, the 2020 Rookie of the Year, he's on, along with Melanie Salemi, a recent winner in a door car down there in some drag race in Orlando. Hey, Sam, man, have you read on Competition Plus this powerful article concerning Matt Hagan?
Yeah, man, reading that, knowing someone that's actually on Hagan's team and kind of getting some insight, it's a really touching story. But I know one person that is really excited about talking about this and, giving us just a little bit more insight. And that is Competition Plus's own and the boss man, Mr. Bobby Bennett.
Hey, they let me on my own show.
Welcome.
We tried. Hang on. There we go.
So everybody was asking me, said, why didn't they have you on the show last week? The first show, I said they wouldn't let me on the show. So is that your role is just sit over there and sign the paychecks. That's it. That's all you do.
No, come on. But Bobby, like we said, talking about this story here with Matt Hagan, just a very powerful story, like Lee said. Can you give us some insight on kind of your raw emotions on this story here?
Yeah. Matt Hagan finally broke his silence and talked about his younger brother, Kyle, who passed away unexpectedly in his sleep. And one thing that the whole gist of the story is about having a loved one with an opioid addiction, and just the fight and the battle that they go through, that you go through. And, it was a matter of, had surgery and became addicted to the painkillers. Well, I can relate to a lot of that because I had a child, one of my children became addicted, and it went all the way to heroin just from dental surgery. And it's just, it's something that no parent should ever want to go through or anything. And I sat there and actually wrote the article as Matt told the story of he and his brother. And I had almost tears in my eyes. So you always want to get into the subject, but sometimes there's subjects that you don't really want to get into. And I'm just, I'm proud to say that my daughter's been 3 years clean from the stuff. Is something that no family really wants to talk about, but we do need to talk about it. And we need to have that dialogue. And Matt finally, after 3 years, was able to open up about the whole experience and losing his brother. And it was just a tough situation for him.
Well, Bobby, thank you for writing that article. I'm sure it was challenging for you to even write it and kind of live through again some things, and send our regards to Matt that he was able to share that. And you never know how the drag racer through something like that can help others going through it. So definitely a heart touching, possibly wrenching story. Folks, check it out on the place to get your drag racing news, competitionplus.com. Bobby, hey, speaking of Competition Plus apparel, you're repping pretty good tonight, man.
Yeah, I got the purple shirt on and everything. And the hats, man, the fuel altered mask that has an American flag and a fuel altered on it, and it says as American as Nitro. And those things, I mean, we're almost sold out, and we haven't even got our supply in yet. We've already had to reorder. That's how quickly they're going. And T-shirts, everything. I mean, they're. Who knew? Who knew there was a market for our apparel?
Well, there definitely is. And folks, right now we're going to take a look at some of that apparel in depth very quickly. Bobby, thank you for being on, your show, The Power Hour.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Get your CompetitionPlus.com apparel today. Whether it's our nitro-burning funny car design or the vibrant door slammer design, we have the swag to show you are always in the know. Get yourself a hat too. And we know not everyone enjoys wearing a mask, but if you must wear one, at least wear a good-looking one. Check out the new CompetitionPlusApparel.com for the latest from the place where you have trusted for your news on the internet for over 2 decades.
Sam, look, Todd Clark says, good evening, guys. Thanks for doing this. Man, Todd, we love to bring it to you. Sam, what's on your mind tonight? Some big news in drag racing. We alluded to it last week, but it's been confirmed.
It's been confirmed. First of all, I want to let everyone know, if you have not done already, please, if you got any topic that you want us to talk about, email us, powerhourcp@gmail.com. We're going to be checking that throughout the week just so we can get our topics out to you guys. But Lee, we've got to talk about it. We have to talk about Harley not in NHRA anymore. I mean, this is a big deal. So do you have any bike companies that you think would be a great fit to replace what we may be lacking now with Harley not being around?
Well, first, let me say this. I think let's be careful about saying Harley not around. There may be Harleys, but they are going to be of a privateer fashion. We may very well see that in 2021. And that may behoove competitors and the NHRA, in fact, because from what I understand from other competitors in Pro Stock Motorcycle is that Harley, in fact, has kind of kept the door closed to other manufacturers coming in. I want to see Indian very, very bad in NHRA Pro Stock. Can you imagine Indian versus Harley on a NHRA professional drag strip, flat track at the drag strip? Yes, sir.
I mean, I can't argue with you there. I'm not a bike guy myself. You know, I've had some family members race bikes, not on a professional level, but, you know, just having fun. But I can say I do like some of their bikes that they got out. But I think you still, you know, you have BMW, I think you have a good variety. And this is going to be, again, one of those ones we have to agree to disagree, but we're still going to agree on it. I think Indian's going to probably be the biggest fit. In my opinion, my personal opinion, I think I would like to see them out there myself.
Yeah, you know, I feel that we've got to get to a point with NHRA professional drag racing that it is seen as truly the premier form of drag racing. It is, and it is so internationally, but it's got to become that, I think, in the brands represented on the track. You mentioned BMW. Why not in professional drag racing? Why not Triumph? Why not Ducati? Why not go after some of these other brands and bring them into the sport and truly show the premier nature of the NHRA by having a plurality of nameplates? And I don't even mean, for me, it's not even just a motorcycle element, but I think we need to see that throughout the classes in NHRA professional drag racing.
But this is the thing, and I don't mean to get off of the topic of just motorcycles right now, but when you look at the big spectrum of it, everyone knows the car builders, right? Everyone knows the names of them. But do we really know how many bike builders there are, chassis builders there are out there? Probably not. I mean, even with talking to a couple of racers here this past week, you kind of start to wonder, like, hey, there's not the name in the market. So with that being said, there's a toss up there. I think this will open the door to the floodgates of having more people wanting that spot.
Yeah, and look, I think the NHRA has also got to do a better job top down, because you do have people like Susan Polachek who are doing a great job within the class outward of promoting pro stock motorcycle. But I feel like the NHRA, they've got to get the word out there. There is some great competitors and great stories coming out of pro stock motorcycle, and people definitely need to start paying attention. I mean, you had people go over 200 miles per hour this year. You had a tight championship battle. You had someone at the U.S. Nationals, the biggest race of the year, in Scotty Polachek, get his first win with a long, even storied career, just hadn't got that NHRA win. He finally gets it. There are great stories regularly coming out of the pro stock motorcycle ranks, and I feel like even if it may seem like bad publicity, there's a saying about what? Bad publicity? There's no bad publicity. It's all good. Look, this is putting pro stock motorcycle in the spotlight. When everybody wants to talk about pro stock or talk about nitro, I think that's good overall for the NHRA Camping World Series.
But there again, we have to do a better job at telling the stories of these racers. Everyone wants to talk about, the header flames and nitro and funny car, but we forget about these other classes. We forget about our pro stocks. We forget about pro stock motorcycle. I think, like you said, we need to do a better job, but what we need to do is put each class at the forefront in a different way. Yes, nitro is going to be everyone's favorite, but if you put each class in a different stagger, show them differently, I think you can get a little bit more excitement out of this. I even see a comment coming in right now that says Suzuki. I mean, whatever your favorite is, it doesn't matter. I mean, we just want to continue to grow these classes. We cannot and we cannot afford, as NHRA and a whole racing community in a whole, we cannot have these lower car counts, bike counts. We just can't afford it right now to continue to grow the sport in the direction we need to.
Right, definitely. Hey, everyone out there, what's a brand of the motorcycle world that you would love to see come into NHRA drag racing, with Harley announcing that it will not have the factory backing in 2021? I still expect to see some Harleys out there, but in a privateer fashion. Again, I would love to see the Indian versus Harley there on the drag strip, but let us hear from you in the comments section. But we do have an individual that can give us some inside information from the pits. We're going to bring him in right now. Jeff Arend, what do you got for us tonight as the pit insider on Power Hour?
Hey, just a few things. Good to see you guys there. First one kind of comes from the pro mod ranks, and back in the 90s when I used to race with a guy named Al Billis out of Canada, he was one of the best guys out there, but somebody that we were always chasing was Scotty Cannon, and his name has come up a few times. I don't know if it's going to be next year or the year after, but look for Scotty Cannon to make a return to the pro mod, and I really hope he does. Great driver, innovator, really came up with a lot of cool things back in the day. Moving on to nostalgia, Dale Pulte's name has been coming up. I've heard his name a few times, maybe not driving, but definitely running a team, maybe a second team for a really successful nostalgia funny car team. So it'd be nice to see Dale back out there again. Other than that, I've heard Casey Spurlock's name come up, believe it or not. Old Hollywood Spurlock. He was around for a long time, had the most beautiful funny cars, in my opinion, that were out there at the time. And I've heard his name kind of been around a little bit, looking for a ride in a nostalgia car. Obviously a big show car if you can afford it, but he's still in the stages of trying to get some sponsorship. And last but not least, Bakersfield this weekend. Don't drive out there. It's a private test session, but Jason Rupert, I think, is going to be out there shaking down his new car, trying to get licensed. There's probably going to be another 10, 12, 14 nitro-powered altereds, funny cars, and everybody testing for hopefully next year at the March meet.
KC Spurlock?
Yeah, believe that or not. I mean, I haven't heard that name for a long time. And,
wow.
It's come up from a few different people. Yep.
I mean, you'd have to put in a Diamond P VHS to hear that name. My goodness, folks. Wow. KC Spurlock.
Let me go get the cassette player. I got this one.
Man,
Get
that's
back to the Diamond P for that one.
yes, man. Hey, Jeff, look, thank you for the inside information. Hey, before you go, with Harley's absent, any particular brand you'd like to see come into the sport?
Pretty much anybody who comes in is going to be good, obviously. And I was actually really happy to see that Justin Ashley, Strutmaster's coming back next year. One of my really good buddies, Aaron Brooks, tunes it. And Aaron is a badass. I mean, that guy can tune anything. And when you have to race against him, you better be worried because it's going to run good.
All right. Jeff, look, thank you for your inside information. Have yourself a great evening.
All right. Take care, guys. See you later.
Just looking down at the comments there, Lee. I mean, we've got a lot of people saying stuff. You got Kawasaki, Suzuki. I'm just trying to look here. So, I mean, it's gonna be a toss-up, but I honestly think Indian. My prediction right here is gonna go Indian or Kawasaki is gonna step up. That's just what I believe.
Definitely so. I think Indian is primed. I have been told from a NHRA competitor in Pro Stock Motorcycle that Indian would have already been there, but Harley has basically been acting as a blocker. So I think Indian will definitely be there. I have to agree with Destroyer 1320.
Yep.
Ducati. Look, again, if the NHRA is really going to be a premier drag racing association, sanctioning body, then let's show it beyond even just American nameplates. And I think Pro Stock Motorcycle is a great place to do it because there is such a rich heritage throughout the world with motorcycle racing.
This is just it. Anybody that can strap into a car and have, doors around them and anything like that, it takes some grit and some tenacity to do that. Excuse me. But to get on a motorcycle, I was talking to Angie Smith here this past week, and to get on a motorcycle and say, I want to go 200 mile an hour, that takes just some true, you have to want that. No one, everyone says, if you get on a motorcycle, you have to be committed to the motorcycle, but that's beyond a commitment to want to go 200 mile an hour. So I think the real challenge there is whatever brand that comes out, Lee, I think you should go out and make some test passes and to make sure it's good and it can go in a straight line.
Well, man, look, I would be more than glad to get on a bike. I would not be very aerodynamic, maybe for someone behind me, but me not going down all by myself, I would not be aerodynamic. I would be a better fit for the Top Fuel Harley guys. They don't have to worry about weight as much. They need more weight from what I understand. And I'd take a shot. I mean, when I say I'd take a shot, I would at least crack the throttle. I'd probably crack it and go, oh, never mind.
Well, Angie was telling me that for a good bit of the race, she said, so it's your left hand is off. You've let go. You're driving that bike with one hand. And like I said, I mean, if you guys think that Lee should get on a bike and test it out, please comment a yes or a thumbs up. I know there's no way I could do it. I'm crazy. I'm wild, but it's just no way I'd be able to do it.
Look, the Mike Ashley says I drove a funny car, Pro Mod, and Dragster. I would never drive a motorcycle. That's scary. Look, I'm chomping at the bit. I'll do anything. Give me a tricycle. I'll put it in the beams. I'll put it in the beams.
Bobby's probably got to watch this, so we got to do it. We're having a little bit too much fun here, but Bobby, I think we need an announcer's tricycle race or some kind of race. Put it together, Competition Plus's own race, all the announcers, media people, whatever. I think we should have a bracket, an off-season race. So I really think that's a good idea. I wouldn't get on a bike, though, but yeah.
Yeah, thumbs up to that. Thumbs up to that.
Mike Ashley even said, yes, I would sponsor. So there you go.
There we go. Tricycle race. Tricycle Hot Rod Association. The NHRA is coming. It's coming, folks. It's coming. It's coming. Well, folks, look, we're going to take a quick break. After that, we're going to talk a little Competition Plus rumor mill, which is, I think, one of the greatest things on competitionplus.com.
On the street, in the water, or at the track. If you drive it, we can fuel it.
Folks, we want you to know Justin Ashley just came in the studio. We will get with him in just a few moments here on the show. But I want you to know about the FTI Competition Plus rumor mill. Go to competitionplus.com and get a chance. It's always ticking the best rumors in drag racing. And there's a rumor that a Nitro team may very well be changing its address. So, Sam, do you think this Nitro team, unnamed, you think it's going to be changing its address from umbrella to another umbrella, or even geographically? What do you think's happening in the Nitro world?
Okay, let's put it out there. We all know most teams are moving to Indy. Indy's a great area, a great position to continue that powerhouse that we've already got built there. I see it going that way, Lee. It's just, it makes more sense. It's more logical to do so.
It is more logical to do so. I definitely see, though, a rise of other teams that are, in fact, growing in competitiveness in other areas of the country. Right now in professional drag racing of the NHRA, I definitely think the regional teams have to be emphasized. And it's amazing. And this is what I love about drag racing. People can be competitive, and yet they don't have to be in the hub. Like, for example, right now, if you are in NASCAR, you are going to be in Mooresville. There's no way around it. Hardly anybody can be competitive outside of Mooresville, North Carolina, except the now defunct Furniture Row racing team. Well, look across the country. You have Alex Milodanovich. He's doing it outside of his garage, like literally out of his garage, in the back of his home. You have Doug Foley. He's getting it done out of Race City, USA, Mooresville. It's fascinating. Drag racing has these great regional people, like a TJ Zizzo. And it's something with drag racing that I love, and we can root for our regional guys. So I think maybe this is a Nitro team that's already in Indianapolis saying we're going to make a shift elsewhere.
I think also another great place for a few teams, you can kind of start seeing the trend of it, is move. A lot of teams are kind of starting to move to that Texas area. The weather, permits them to do a lot more during the off season, because they technically don't really have an off season. So I think we have a couple of good areas, like you mentioned, of where racing is very strong. And I think in the next few years, you'll see a lot more teams either switching directions a little bit or opening up camps or having a secondary shop other places, just like they're talking about with Antron Brown.
Right. Mark here mentions Antron Brown owning his own team and moving to the Torrance camp. Yeah, I mean, look, he's got a long storied relationship with Don Schumacher Racing, but right now, who's hot? It's the Torrance camp, and he's got a great friendship with Steve. Why not get some more technical alliance with that team, having more independence with his program coming in 2021?
He's also got a couple of boys that, really love racing. If you ever watch anything that Antron puts out on his social media, him and his boys and a couple of their friends, they'll sit in the garage all night and have a, test tree tournament. And those are the kind of things that you like to see when we continue to talk about racing. The biggest thing that we have to talk about, and what's true with one of our or both of our guests here tonight, is that there's the history of that, and that's trickling down from the top to the bottom. So to see this, for it to continue to grow, and then the rumors, or as Competition Plus stated, CP knows, you're going to see more things popping up in the next few months, I would think.
Sure. And, with COVID-19, it's shaking things up. You might find people looking for an even greater economical climate. It may be teams saying, look, we've got to get out of even where we're at regionally and find a better place. Coming like, for example, the sportsman ranks, Dan Fletcher, he's plans on moving out of New York with the political climate that's there, the taxes that are there, and move to North Carolina because it's more favorable?
Yeah, I mean, COVID's put a block on a lot of things, but then also in the same sense, it's opened up a lot of teams' eyes, right? A lot of teams right now are using money that they probably would have used for their off-season program or, PRI or different things like that to put into promotion, to put into advertising or different, product testing. So it's given us the downside that we've always talked about, right? The numbers, the results, the effects on people, and the effect that it had on our sport. But in the positive side of COVID, in the greater picture, there's been more things that have happened to kind of grow our sport in a theory.
Definitely, man. Folks, look, in the comments section, put some comments in for Justin Ashley. We're going to be bringing him on momentarily after this break. Look, before the break, Sam, why don't you tell folks where they can find you outside of the Power Hour?
Outside of the Power Hour, if you can, I run 2 small businesses. I have Mad Bro Motorsports, but I do all my social media stuff, everything, Talking Drag Racing, my other podcast, and pretty much everything, any type of racing. You can find me at Outlaw Performance ENT, and you can find me on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and In the Groove podcast on all the social media platforms that you can listen to a podcast about. And we talk anything from NHRA to dirt track racing, honestly. What about just...
Oh, look, it's the 2020 Rookie of the Year for NHRA Camping World Series, Mr. Justin Ashley. How you doing tonight, man?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on. How are you doing?
Oh, Justin, look, I'm doing fabulous. Sam, look, take it away, man.
I feel like the third wheel here because you guys are both strut masters and here I am. But anyway, hey, Justin, just kind of want to congratulate you first and foremost on the Rookie of the Year coming on to the show. But explain what it's like now. New sponsor coming in and you're the first Camping World Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, it's this whole season's kind of been a whirlwind. I'm fortunate to have had a really great season. And the truth of the matter is you're only as good as your team. And your team is the guys physically there working on the car. And it's also your marketing partners. And we're fortunate enough to have a really great group headed by Strut Masters and Auto Shocker and others that have supported us and helped us get to this point. But to be able to collect Rookie of the Year, especially being that it's the first NHRA Camping World Rookie of the Year award, was something special, something that was really cool, and something that I'm definitely going to look back on for the rest of my life and say, hey, I was able to accomplish this with a great team, with a great group of guys in 2020.
And to hear you say it, to me, it speaks volumes on yourself of thanking your team first and your marketing partners. And talking about marketing partners, we have to talk about it. You just signed an extension deal with Strut Masters. What is that like, for you to have that continued support from a top-notch team like Strut Masters?
Yeah, it really means the world to us. The truth is, without Chip Lofton and Strut Masters, we wouldn't be in the position we are today. And really, for the most part, no matter what category you're racing in, if you're involved in any kind of racing, but especially at this level, it starts with support from your sponsors and support from your marketing partners. And, from the beginning, Chip and Strut Masters were on board. Before we had done anything in Top Fuel, we were a brand new team. Personally, I was coming over from the A Fuel ranks, and I spoke to him, and he was gracious enough to give me an opportunity. And, we started working together, and ever since then, our relationship has grown. And I really value our relationship on a professional level, but on a personal level too. And I know Chip is recovering from knee surgery right now in the hospital. So just a shout out to Chip. We're thinking about him and praying for him. And, we're excited. We're excited to align with them again in 2021. And we're looking forward to an even greater year.
You've got all these trophies here behind you and, and it's just like, all right, which one do we really want to look at? But when we look at it, you got a big win here this year. What is that feeling like with your, with the history that you have? What is that feeling going in, fighting, and finally coming out with that first win?
Yeah, that was awesome. That's something that I'm going to remember for the rest of my life. That moment in and of itself just really brought me to tears, to be honest with you. I grew up around the racetrack. I grew up watching my father. I watched my dad at that racetrack win the U.S. Nationals in 2007. I was at the top end when he turned the corner and hopped out of the car, and then to kind of have a little bit of a role reversal, if you will. And he was at the top end this time at that same racetrack at Lucas Oil Raceway when I turned the corner. Really just brought me to tears, really. I mean, it's amazing just the amount of hard work and dedication that our sponsors, that our team, put in to make this happen. And on top of it all, the 48-day wait because of the rain delay or however long it was just culminated in just the most special kind of victory that you could ever imagine. And that's the reason we do this. We do this because we love it, because it's fun, but we do it to win. So to be able to get that satisfaction for myself, but for our team was just, an exhilarating feeling.
Hey, Justin. Hey, who called you getting a win in 2020?
That's right. If I'm not mistaken, this Monday Morning Racer guy may have called Rookie of the Year and a win for us. So he's pretty on point. Two for two.
Well, I am 2 for 3 because I will admit, I said you were going to tie Sean Langdon, and you didn't do that for me. You didn't do that for me.
You're human, but for the most part,
that's right.
You get most of the stuff right.
I mean, I'm great, but I'm human. That's right.
Hopefully when he said that, he had his glasses on, or he had his glasses off, because most people give him crap about that all the time. So he only doesn't make mistakes when he has the glasses on. That's what I've heard.
That's right.
But we got some comments coming in. Some people are saying, the camera usually puts on 15 or 10 pounds there, and for you, it makes you look like you're 15 years old. So, I mean, what's that all about?
Well, I don't know. It could be because I just shaved here before I came on, so maybe it has something to do with the little bit of baby face I have going.
Right. Likewise,
was that with Manscaped? I gotta ask.
I'm glad you mentioned that because it is with Manscaped. I did use Manscaped. Actually, I used the weed whacker to trim my nose a little bit and clean up my face. But I don't know. I've had people. It's the weirdest thing. I've had people come up to me and say, "Hey, you look 30. I'm 25 years old," or "Hey, you look 15. What are you doing driving a top fuel dragster?" So I've gotten pretty much everything you could possibly imagine.
Yep. I have most people come up and say that I look round.
Well, Lee, I always tell people they have to be careful because when me and you are together, they often mix us up.
Man, you don't want that to happen. Don't want that to happen. Well, I mean, I might because I want to hop in the car, but you don't want that to happen. No. Hey, look, speaking of cars, Scott asked this, what does he mean by A fuel rank? So when you throw that nomenclature out there, what do you mean, man?
Sure. Well, that's a great question from Scott. A fuel refers to the top alcohol dragster category. For a lot of guys and girls, including myself, it's kind of the natural stepping stone to top fuel. These cars go, in the 520s at 280 plus miles per hour. They run to the quarter mile. And in terms of procedures inside the car, it's all relatively the same, or at least as close as you can get. Now, nothing's really going to prepare you for driving a top fuel dragster until you're actually behind the wheel in the seat. But in terms of a natural progression, this is the step that a lot of guys and girls take prior to racing top fuel. And for me, it was going those 520s at 280 miles per hour. And again, in that category, I was fortunate enough to be surrounded by a lot of really great people, a lot of really great teams that, helped me learn and help me grow as a driver and help me get to the position I'm in today.
Hey, I got to say, I got a couple of friends out here that are in the North Dakota area that are tuning in. So, hey, to all you guys that are way out here in North Dakota. But going down the list, you talked about that delay before that race. Usually, you get into the routine, you keep going each round. And so you're in your groove, you're in your routine, but then you have to wait. Does that change the ball game? That's like having a hurricane right in the middle of a football game. Now you've got to play the fourth quarter over, right? I mean, what is that wait like?
Yeah, it's I'm definitely a routine oriented person. Like I'm sure a lot of athletes are, like I'm sure a lot of drivers are. So to be kind of thrown out of that routine and have another variable added to the whole circumstance, definitely kind of threw a wrench into things. But at the same time, it was the same for me as it was for TJ and for our team as it was for TJ's team. So I would say, the first 2 weeks or so, after that final round was delayed, I spent a lot of time thinking about the upcoming final round. And then I had to just kind of tell myself, listen, just got to be able to control what we can control. The time will pass, and before you know it, it'll be here. And sure enough, it was. And it was just a matter of really, I think, trying to keep things simple, not thinking about it too much and not trying to get caught up in the fact that these were unique circumstances. This was a little bit of a longer wait. But in the end, I do think it was actually worth it. It made it that much more unique. And it made it that much more rewarding. I mean, I was able to do it at Lucas Oil Raceway, at the U.S. Nationals, live on Fox, in front of mainstream media and national media attention. So it also ended up having a lot of benefits to it in the long run.
That's awesome. It gets your mind off things. Were there any things that you tried to do to, get your mind off, not have those scary nights where you wake up in the middle of the night thinking, oh, crap, I missed the race, or any of that kind of stuff happen for you?
Yeah, I think I definitely lost a few hours of sleep the first 2 weeks or so, but I think that exercise was one thing that I tried to do. Just kind of focus on exercising and kind of getting away from everything helped me kind of get some sort of peace of mind. And the other thing was focusing on my business. By day, I'm a fix and flip real estate investor in New York. And, I just spent that time focusing on the business and, kind of just indulging myself in that particular area. And by doing that, I was able to, keep my focus and attention on that instead of on the final round.
And that's one of those, things there where it's like, that was my next question. What is a normal day for you? If you take out racing, what's a normal day for you? Like,
yeah. So, I mean, for me, the normal day obviously varies. But I would say, the normal day really honestly is focused primarily on real estate. That's what it is from the time I wake up to the time I go to bed. My primary concentration, my primary focus is on Ashley Developers. We're renovating, a few different projects right now. All of them are in different stages. We buy these houses that are just in terrible condition, have the worst smells, which I use Room Shocker for to get rid of those odors. And, I really just focus on that. I'm in the office, my home office right now, most of the day. And then, a few hours out of each day, I'm usually running around to different job sites and, kind of getting a feel for what's going on actually in the field. And then a portion of that day is also focused on racing, focused on making sure that, I give myself the best opportunity to take advantage of, in this instance, the 4 months that we have off and make sure that I'm in the best physical and mental shape by exercising and doing everything I can. And then it's also a lot of focus on the business side of racing, trying to bring on new marketing partners and build off of the existing ones that we have. So it's a little bit of a mix of everything, but primarily it's really mostly focused on the real estate side of things.
Justin, Mark, which is being the MVP of the comments section tonight so far. Look, everybody out there, be like Mark. Comment. Mark asks this, with Justin's killer reaction times, I don't know why everybody talks about that, we ever going to see him at a big dollar bracket race like the Million in Michigan, Langan and Jeggy went this year? So yeah, man, any desire to hop in a bracket car and go for some 10,000, millions, 50 grand?
Well, I don't know about a bracket car. I did spend some time racing Top Dragster with a guy named Barry Brown, an awesome guy. So I did my little bit of share of bracket racing. I heard Melanie's coming on later. If she wants to switch rides, maybe I'll hop in her Pro Mod car, but that's not here nor there. Yeah, I'd love to try doing that bracket racing, especially these big dollar bracket races. The competition is awesome. When you have guys like Sean Langdon and Jed Coughlin Jr. going there to race in these bracket races, that the competition is stiff and it's tough and the amount of money that's there is up for the grabs. And these are the best racers in the world. And quite frankly, I would be up for it. I think it would be, a privilege to to race against some of these guys. Bracket racing is some of the most difficult racing out there. It definitely requires a special and particular kind of skill set. And I have a lot of respect for those guys. And hey, you never know, if the opportunity arises, I'd certainly be up for it.
Cool,
Justin,
man.
did you
Cool.
get in on any of that iRacing during the off time? Were you involved in some of that?
No.
So
This man was coming up with his own workout videos. That's what he was doing.
Hey,
Yeah,
he can send you.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you can send us a couple of those videos. I can drop a couple of LBs during the off season. So if you want to put those on there, I'm pretty sure Lee and I could be a good testament to your workout routine.
Definitely me.
That's right. I didn't get involved in the iRacing when it first started to kind of grow. I saw it on social media, especially during this pandemic while we had that long wait. And I never actually took the leap forward to start with the iRacing, but it's something that I'm interested in. I really need to do more research so I can learn a little bit more about it. But I would definitely like to get a whole iRacing setup at some point and at least give it a shot. It's super competitive. And, I see guys like Caps on there and Langdon on there and then a bunch of NASCAR guys on there. So I'm sure it's definitely a blast.
That's what I was going to say. If you go ahead, Lee.
Go ahead, Sam. No, man. Go ahead. Go ahead.
That's what I was going to say. You might as well give Ron Capps a call. I mean, that guy was hitting it hard there for a couple of races. He was on there giving her a run for the money. So I think if you need any inside tips, he's your person to call. Yeah,
there's certain guys out there that could just drive anything, even simulated driving. I think Ron's one of those guys that can hop in any kind of car and just drive it well. And you saw with the iRacing, just having a simulator race as a guy is good. He's just super talented and definitely a guy I'm going to have to reach out to for sure if I decide to move forward with the iRacing.
Justin, look, Dale, he asks, have you always wanted to race, following your dad a racer as a kid, or was there ever anything other than racing that you wanted to do? No, you spend some time with the pigskin in hand, but definitely now applying through the racing career. Yeah, I don't know, I want to be a firefighter or anything like that.
Yeah, so it's actually unique in that, growing up around my dad and at the racetrack, I always had a love for racing. I think it's something that I really always wanted to do. Just love it from the bottom of my heart. Love everything about drag racing. In terms of other kinds of racing, I would love to race anything, but drag racing's always had a special place in my heart. So that was never really even a thought in my mind. It was really only going to be about that. But, growing up, I played a lot of football, baseball, basketball, ended up walking on and playing Division III football in college. So, I think my focus really was on football and other sports growing up, more so than anything else. But once I graduated school, that love for racing never went away. And I knew that that's something that I needed to pursue.
Okay. So just to get a little personal with you, if there was anything, other than your dragster, I know you mentioned Melanie's Pro Mod, but if there was any other kind of racing, anyone that you could pick out and say, you know what, I want to do some racing in that category, what would it be?
Yeah, I mean, it'd definitely be Pro Mod. I grew up watching Pro Mod and, Pro Mod's got a special place in my heart. I think that would be absolutely awesome to get a chance to do that. And trust me when I tell you, I got a long way to go with this top fuel dragster. It's a handful. And I got to continue to learn and continue to get better as a driver, which is my plan and where my focus is on. But to be able to drive a Pro Mod would definitely top the list for me. And then funny car, be able to drive a funny car, I think would be pretty cool. You're talking about something that, they each go 300 miles per hour plus, but totally different kinds of cars. And, driving a funny car would be a challenge. I'm sure it would definitely take some time to learn, but one that I would definitely welcome with open arms.
So, Justin, look, Destroyer 1320, he's got a question that I wanted to ask you, and he's proposed it, so we'll give it to him. He asked, what is your goal for 2021? So this year, banner year, I think y'all really were able to exceed what you wanted to do from the finals last year in Pomona going through 2020. Through this pandemic, and Davis Motorsports stepped up, got the job done, a win, Rookie of the Year, finished 7th in points, I believe it was even there running in the top 5 with some potential to move forward. So, yeah, I've got to ask, man, what's 2021?
I think we need, before he answers that question, You gotta pull this one up from Mike Ashley.
Now,
you
see, Mike does this all the time. He does this all the time. He does it on my show. He's never ever driving pro mod. Not happening. Well, later on, we're going to bring in Melanie Salemi, and we're going to see if we can get this worked out. Okay, we're going to see if we get this worked out right here.
We've already
Competition Power Hour.
We've already got our first tricycle race, so I mean, and you're getting on a bike, so we might. Yeah. I mean, everybody gets something today.
Yeah, we're all getting something. We all getting something. So yeah, what do you want to get in 2021, Mr. Ashley?
Yeah, for me, that's kind of a loaded question. We have a lot of goals. I have a lot of goals as an individual, and we have a lot of goals as a team. Kind of as you mentioned, the Davis Motorsports guys, everyone from Dustin Davis to Jason Bunker to Aaron Brooks and everyone down the line did a great job laying a foundation this year. I think that our goal is to create a program that's dedicated to sustainable success. We want to be out there full time, and we want to be out there, every race, giving ourselves an opportunity to win and having success on and off the racetrack. And the Davis Motorsports guys did an excellent job setting that up for us this year. And we really want to build off that. I mean, obviously we'd love to be able to run a full schedule. We're committed at minimum to be able to run 12 races next year with Strut Masters, Auto Shocker, and the other awesome sponsors that are supporting us. And, every race we go to, we want to have fun, but we want to win. That's our ultimate goal. We want to show up to the racetrack, and each and every race, we want to give ourselves an opportunity to win.
Stellar, man. All right. Stellar.
Final question for me, and this one's going to tickle Lee here a little bit, but what is your favorite cereal?
Yes.
That's a good question.
Hey, Justin, remember, I see you at the track, so answer wisely.
I wish I knew the answer that I was supposed to give based on the reaction, but this is good because this will be natural. I'm assuming I can't give 2 because it's like a 1 and 1A, but I think I'm going to go with Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
My man!
That's all reliable. You can't go wrong. Cinnamon Toast Crunch with a nice bowl of a lot of milk in there. It's good stuff.
Oh, man. Lee.
Hey, whoa. Wait, Sam. Wait. Competition Plus TV says Fruity Pebbles. That's an interesting choice. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Well, if you're going in terms of power rankings, right? I mean, Fruity Pebbles is on there, but I mean, it's just, you got to put like Cinnamon Toast Crunch at the top, but also let's not forget about Captain Crunch. That's very reliable as well.
See, and that's where I keep trying to tell you that, Lee. You have your like traditional cereals, but then you've got that other like, hey, I might sit here and eat a whole bowl of cereal. So yeah, your Fruity Pebbles, something like that. But if you want to go true, like, hey, I need to get this meal, get it in, and it's going to taste good and be nutritious. I'm just saying you can't go wrong with Cinnamon Toast Crunch. You just can't.
Look, I'd say this. You can't go wrong with that. You can't go wrong with fruity Pebbles. You can't go wrong with Frosted Flakes because they're great. But I tell you where you can't go wrong.
No,
you can't,
hold on.
Don't you stop me, Sam. You can go wrong with Cookie Crisp. I'm telling you, no, they're not cookies no more. It's gone. They killed the recipe. It is over. It's sad.
What's your cereal of choice, Lee? I'm just curious.
What's mine?
Yeah.
Well, from my childhood, my number 1 is gone, so it doesn't matter no more. It's so sad. No, honestly, I am a plain Jane type of guy, like just regular old cornflakes. That does it for me. Yeah.
Fine.
Honey Nut Cheerios, But Justin, just to give you a backstory, I had Lee on my podcast, and we always kind of wrap up with a random 3 questions. Just get inside, and holy. If I'm going to get the clip and send it to Strut Masters so they can post it on their site for a day. But this man was just mad.
Hey, look, something happened. Somebody stole the Cookie Crisp recipe, and it has never been the same. In the comments below, say so. You know it. Lucky Charms just stayed the same. Cocoa Puffs have stayed the same. No, they got to change Cookie Crisp. My goodness, I tell you, what does the world come to? I want real cookies in milk in my cereal bowl. That's what I want. Now, we got to transition. Justin, hang with us. We're going to take a break, and we're going to bring in Melanie, not Salami, it's Salemi, up next here on the Power Hour.
In the race for quality, there is no finish line. Jerry Bickle Race Cars is a one-stop chassis shop for drag racing performance parts and race components. For over 50 years, Jerry Bickle Race Cars has been an essential part of racers' plans for building world champion race cars. Our parts department is stocked with every part a racer might need. Log on to jerrybickle.com for more information. We build anything with doors. jerrybickle.com.
You left it.
Melanie. Hey, how you doing?
Look at that thing.
Oh, is it not an impressive trophy? Look at that thing.
That thing just screams a lot of America.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. America. And a Canadian won it. How does that happen?
Hey, whoa. Don't talk about the Canadians. They're about 45 minutes away from me, so we like our Canadians.
I actually have 3 of these. The past 3 years, I've left that race with a trophy. One was a runner-up, and then 2 wins in a row.
Awesome, stellar.
Well, look, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, we just wrapped up on asking favorite cereal, so we might as well get yours. What's your favorite cereal?
Mini Wheats.
Mini Wheats. Wow.
That must be a Canadian thing.
No, frosted mini wheats, like the sugar on the top.
That's like old people cereal.
I think that answer was so bad we lost Justin.
Yeah, we lost Justin. It was yes. Hey, look, Melanie, he said the possibility of trading the top fuel ride for your pro mod. Him getting the pro mod, you getting his top fueler. Can we work something out?
I definitely do not have enough money to do that.
Oh, well, there went that. Great.
Look,
His dad said never.
Yeah, his
Justin,
dad did say,
he said she doesn't have the money for the top fueler, so it didn't look like the pro mod thing's happening.
Oh, man, Melanie, I figured I'd at least take a shot. I'd at least say, you never know.
Man, these comments about that cereal choices.
Look, people get passionate about their cereal. Breakfast is important. They say it's the most important meal of the day.
A little small bottle of water, and
I would rather have eggs than cereal.
What was that? Eggs?
Yeah, I would rather have eggs over cereal for breakfast.
Hey, look, I had eggs, bacon, and a pancake this morning. It was stellar. I enjoyed it. It was great.
You guys got too much time in your hands in the morning to have all that, but Anywho, Melanie, congratulations on the big win down at OSW.
Thank you.
You debut the car a year ago. You come back, and I mean, no one can touch you. You take out Reese in the final round of Radio versus the World. There, I mean, what is that like to debut your car last year and then come back this year and take the win?
We really had like a picture perfect weekend. Qualified number 1 in the first round of qualifying, stayed number 1 throughout qualifying in the last round, bettered our ET, and just we were on a roll from the get-go. So it's not very often that you have a perfect weekend like that. Even though it is racing, we still had some things go wrong with the car, but luckily we were able to overcome those things and get it done. So it's really cool to be able to go to that race and do well. I mean, I've gone the last 3 years, like I said, and I've been in the final the first year with the Pro Mod car, and then the last 2 years with the Radial car. So it's been pretty good, and that race is slowly becoming one of my favorites.
So the drive home from that race, that's got to be, not a drag. That's got to be upbeat. You guys are like, hey, we just won. We came out there with a victory. But then the comment coming in also, too, from Competition Plus is, well, how does it feel to dominate this class when, there's not that many women in your class?
Yeah, I mean, there are a few women that will race at, like, say, Lights Out or No Mercy. But typically there isn't that many females that have have ventured into RVW. So it's pretty cool to be able to be one of the front running cars. And I adapted really, really well to going from the Pro Mod car to the Radial car, just, listening and taking advice from Jim and Mike and John, and just kind of taking things at my own pace. One of the things that I can probably contest most of my success to is the build of the car, because we've built the Pro Mod car, we built the Radial car, everything in the car, the attention to the detail of where everything is, it's all in the same spot. And I'm extremely comfortable in both of those cars.
Justin, you got anything for our Radial versus World winner there at the World Street Nationals?
Man, I have a lot of questions. I've always admired anybody who's been able to drive a Pro Mod type car before. So, Melanie, let me ask you this: what was it like the first time you got behind the wheel and drove a Pro Mod car?
The only thing that I can think of is if you take, I don't know, say a group of people that are very mad at you and have them all scream at you at one time. That's what it felt like when I got behind the engine in the Pro Mod car for the first time. Because prior to driving the Pro Mod car, I raced dragsters for 15 years before that. So everything was going on behind me, and I had no idea what to expect when went up on the two-step and let go of the button for the first time. But that's the only thing that I can think of, somebody or a whole bunch of people that are really mad at you, just like all screaming at you at the same time, because it's extremely violent. And not that it doesn't get a little bit easier each time, but it was really intimidating the first time.
And you're mentioning intimidating. In the Pro Mod, you're still doing it off the clutch. Is that not right?
No, we have a quick drive unit with a torque converter, so it's off a button, and it's no clutch, unfortunately. That is definitely something that I would like to do, though. Times have changed, and there's not very many Pro Mod cars with clutches anymore. So that is something that maybe someday I would like to try. Just try something different, but yeah, ours is a torque converter and a quick drive with a 5-speed Liberty behind it. So
stellar. Well, folks, we're going to bring Justin back in one more time. Justin, tell folks where they can find you, and we will bid you good night.
Sure. Anybody can find me on social media, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter at the Justin Ashley. And then you could also check out our website, justinashley.com. And check us out. Thank you guys for having me on tonight. I really appreciate it. And Melanie, best of luck with everything.
Thank you, and congratulations on your Rookie of the Year win.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Justin.
Thank you.
Melanie.
All right, Melanie.
Go ahead, Sam.
We're going to dive right into it. That car all weekend in OSW was pretty much consistent. I mean, to go 357 with a 9. I think you went like 360.08 and a couple of 360 passes, but then to finish it off with a 357 with a 9. What is that like? And your tuning and everything like that. How did you guys get that car so dialed in?
Man, we have been running this car like crazy for the last month and a half. Started at Shakedown. We went to Shakedown. We tested there. Unfortunately, I had a parts failure, broke the oil pump in first round. So went out early during that race. But then we stayed and we tested after the race there. And then we went to Sweet 16. And I mean, how many qualifiers did we have there? 100. So we used that as a test session. And then in between Sweet 16 and No Mercy, we tested basically all week long. And we just have been making run after run after run after run. And even with the rules changes that we were faced with in between Shakedown and Sweet 16, my guys have been nonstop making improvements on the car and figuring things out. And honestly, I can contest the way that the car ran last weekend to all of the work that has been put into doing testing and trying different things, and we've just kind of hit it.
Melanie, Destroyer 1320 says, the radial class is a true display of engineering and tuning. I know you've been asked before a lot, what's the difference between the Pro Mod and the Radial Car? I mentioned earlier on the Tool Time Tuesday with the Carusos about a third car, because you got two right now. You've got Purple Rain, the Pro Mod, and
Love
you've got
everything about that.
I know. You got the side piece, the Radial Car. Look, why no third wheel, no prep car? Why no prep? Why not do it?
I don't know. I'm not really a fan. Not that I'm not a fan of all sorts of drag racing, but I personally, I've got enough on my plate, and I don't think I need to even venture that way yet, or at all.
Come on, you got to dabble in it just a little bit. Yeah, I mean,
you know, you've done the Top Dragster, you've done Pro Mod, you've done. I mean, it's going natural progression. Just might as well do it.
Nah, I think I'll stick with the Radial Car. That's definitely my calling there. So
at Orlando, definitely.
But see, with a third car, you could call that like the third wheel, because now you got the side chick, so now we've got third wheel. But where do those names, the side chick, that gets me. That's the modern day slang for anyone that doesn't know out there. But where do you come up with a name like that?
Well, it actually came from my husband and I thinking of a name for the Radial Car. Our main focus is the Pro Mod car. So, and as Lee said, it is named Purple Rain. And from there, we wanted to have a name that kind of incorporated the Purple Rain, but didn't want to just say, second Purple Rain or something like that. So we actually, it is actually named Purple Rain's side piece. So they are still connected. They still have the Purple Rain name. Just one is Purple Rain, and one is Purple Rain's side piece, because ultimately it is our second car, and it's kind of the car that we go to some fun races with, different things than just the Pro Mod stuff. So that's where that came from.
Now, with you saying that, does it feel the atmosphere, does it feel different when you're at a radial race opposed to a PDR race? Is there a different tension? Are y'all more at ease doing the radial? Are you up on edge when it's pro boost? Do you feel that?
No, I mean, we definitely race the same way with both cars. We're giving it our all the time. So none of that changes, but maybe the atmosphere of the fan, there's definitely two completely different fan bases at the radial races versus Pro Mod races. And then like last weekend, when you get the radial cars and the Pro Mod cars together, those fans kind of come together, and that's really neat too. The fan base for radial stuff, they seem to be maybe a little bit on the younger side versus the fans for Pro Mod. Not that there isn't a lot of younger fans of Pro Modified, but definitely the feel is a little bit of a younger crowd at the radial stuff. Maybe it feels kind of maybe a little bit more outlawish than PDRA does, but our pit is usually the same feel at both sanctioning places to race.
So for you, how do you just described, the older Phil versus the younger Phil? How do you think we can bridge that gap to bring everyone back in and to kind of connect the dots to having more younger versus older situations?
Man, I don't know. That's tough. I think that's everybody's struggle as a promoter, is to figure out how to get younger people involved and more fans in the stands and stuff like that. I don't have an answer, or I'd be sharing it with everybody, but I mean, we've got a lot of great promoters, and I think, you know, people want to go and watch a show. So that's one of the main things that I think needs to get back to happening. And, you know, if there's downtime on the racetrack, everybody wants to be entertained. They don't want to just sit there and bake in the sun in the stands. So we need to figure out ways to keep people entertained while they're in the stands waiting, you know, because definitely times have kind of switched a little bit, and there's more track prep going on, a lot more track prep going on than in previous times. So I think, you know, if we found ways to keep everybody entertained for those times, that might be a draw to get more fans to come out, you know, because at that point it's word of mouth. You know, you have one family that comes to one race and they have a blast, they're going to tell all their friends, and they're just going to carry that on down the line. So
Evan Salemi, he states that it should be Pro Mods versus Radial versus the world. Do you think that could work out? Do you think that can happen?
Oh, yeah, sure it could. I mean, Marcus Burt raced his Radial versus the World car in Pro Modified this past weekend. So I think if you are at a race where it's a hybrid race and there's Pro Mod cars there and there's Radial versus the World cars there, and the track prep is fairly similar for both classes, I think, sure, why not? You could definitely do some grudge racing with Radial versus the World versus Pro Mod.
But then that's when they throw in those rules and no more radios in that class.
Yeah.
Right? But there are some other comments in there to keep everyone entertained. We can have John dance. I think, Lee, that's where you and I come in. You know, we can have our tricycle race, a media tricycle race down there.
Yes.
Track prep might be a little issue.
Yeah, we can't line up in the Radial, you know, in that seam. That would be bad. That would not go over well at all. No, it would not, definitely. And look, for me, we need to be at a track that's downhill. That would be more advantageous to do the tricycle race. Definitely.
I think we can hook a little boost, a little nitrous up to you. That give you that advantage over me.
I remember back in the day when they used to have the big wheel tricycles, and they used to have the kids out there doing races. And my dad used to tell me about how they'd have creeper races and stuff like that. So I think we need to bring some of that back. Bring back people that are holding up signs for what class is running, so people in the stands know what's going on. I mean, if you're in the stands and there's racing going on, it is hard to hear the announcements at lots of racetracks that we go to. So I mean, just think about being a regular spectator and being at your first race. You'd be probably pretty confused as to what was going on.
You know, look, I know in boxing they have the pretty sign girl, and they, you know, hold the sign card for the round. I'll be the pretty sign guy and hold up the card for the class. I'll do that, shades and all. I will definitely. I mean, people might not come back, but I'll do it.
No, I think you need to do what Destroyer said. You just need to get on a unicycle. We'll all like that. It'll be great. You pretty girl card thing. No. But speaking of, you know, different cars and stuff, we have to talk about this convertible Geo Metro you used to have. I mean, is that car still around? Can you still find it? Can you give us a story on that?
Probably can't find it. I have honestly no idea what happened to it. Well, actually, I do know what happened to it. I drove it the very first summer I got my license, and it was October, and my dad had said to me, you know, you have to put the car away because it's going to be winter soon. It's going to be snowing. And I lived in Ontario, Canada, so it definitely was going to start snowing soon. And it was kind of a warmer day, and I had the top down, and it got cold. I definitely had the heat on in the car, and I got home and I tried to close the roof on it, and it broke. Like, it was way too cold out, and I think like the plastic around the top just like broke. So that was the last time I ever saw that car, and I'm pretty sure my dad sold it to somebody local, and that was it. But I had a lot of fun in that car. My dad thought, you know, it would be a perfect car for a new driver, only 2 seats, couldn't pile all my friends in the car. He put a cool stereo in it for me, and my one girlfriend and I, we ended up getting a summer job at the same place, and every day after we went to work, when we were off, we would get in my car and just drive around, listen to music, and until it was time to come home, and I had to be home at 10 o'clock or else I was in big trouble. So that was good memories in that car.
Man, 10 o'clock, that's a pretty stringent curfew right there.
Well, my dad always told me, you know, if your car breaks down, I don't want to have to get out of bed to come and save you. So if you're home at 10, I'm probably still gonna be up.
That, you know what? If I'm ever a dad, that's a good point. I need to remember that.
Lee, you got to think about it like this. I mean, you know, she even mentioned it, October, and there's already snow. Most of the kids don't even make it to Halloween without fleece-lined. You know, you have to buy it a size bigger to put some pajamas underneath there because it's going to be cold. So convertible, 10 o'clock. I mean, it's 5:30 and it's already pitch black out here during the winters.
Right,
I'm up in Minot, North Dakota. So, I mean, not too far from Winnipeg and different things like that. So, I mean, we got to deal with these cold, you know, Arctic winters up here.
We definitely drove through snow today to get home from the racetrack. So we, after the race, we hung out and celebrated a little bit, but knew that we had a 20-hour drive home. So yesterday morning we left at about 9 o'clock and we got home around 2 o'clock today. So we've been traveling. It was really warm when we left, and by 3 o'clock yesterday started getting a little bit cooler. And then our trip I think we were in Pennsylvania last night when we stopped, and from then home it was freezing cold, and we went through a few snowstorms and back to winter.
Back to winter, back to upstate or western New York. And I've got to ask, because I was there earlier this year outside of Rochester. Y'all are still up there without any sight of moving anytime soon. God bless you all. How challenging has it been this year with COVID-19, with the political climate that there is there in New York? Have you been, like ducking and dodging people checking, like, where have you been? Have you quarantined? How have things like that been going?
Well, honestly, we tend to stay at home and at the shop. So it's not like we're out cruising around and doing many things outside of that, especially while we're racing. You know, we have a pretty tight schedule. Go to work on the race car, come home, do laundry, feed people, and get ready to go racing again. So not too many problems with that. One of my major problems, though, is that I haven't been able to see my family since February. So that's been kind of tough. Previous to the border closing down, I would be in Canada at least once or twice a month to see my family. So that's been kind of tough, and we've been having lots of FaceTime chats, and that's really one of the toughest things that I've had to deal with the shutdowns and stuff like that. But with racing, we've kind of just continued on and done what we could to keep ourselves safe and our family safe. So it hasn't been too much of a change from normal stuff for us, other than races have gotten canceled or changed or moved or stuff like that. But we've kind of stuck it out and done the best we could.
And so for you, just kind of wrapping it up here, right? We're gone down the track here, but any sponsors that you would like to thank, anyone that's helped you guys, to get to this point, to continue to grow and continue to get those wins?
Yeah, we have a lot of sponsors that that we're very fortunate to be marketing partners with. First and foremost, Eddie Whalen, Alley Installations, Strange Engineering, Liberty's Gears, Quick Drive Racing, Ross Pistons, NGK Spark Plugs, LAT Racing Oils, Mentor Motorsports, Noonan Race Engineering, and Flat Out Gaskets, BP Racing Fuels, PST Drive Shafts, Clevite, and Motorsports Unlimited. My dad, RS Performance, MSR Performance, Mike Stewicki, who builds our engines for us and is a huge part of our team as well. My brother-in-law, Jim Salemi, G-Force Race Cars, and Kinetic Engineering, and John's company, Resolution Racing Services. So pretty long list, but they've all been really great supporters of our Pro Mod Racing and Radial Racing, and we like to definitely promote all of their products, use all of their products on our cars, and anything that we have on our cars, we sell through G-Force Race Cars and Resolution Racing Services. So anything that we use to get our cars down the racetrack in good fashion, we sell all those parts too. So it's been it's nice to have relationships with our vendors and being able to kind of showcase their products and sell their products to our customers as well.
Melanie, look, thank you for being on Competition Plus Power Hour. Congratulations on your win. And until next time, well, make sure the side piece doesn't learn about Purple Rain.
Thank you.
And keep smashing that loud pedal.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Melanie. Appreciate it.
Oh, hey, I have one more question for you, Lee.
Sure.
I know that you lived in Western New York.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Mm-hmm.
How come your favorite cereal wasn't Flutie Flakes?
Wasn't Flutie Flakes. Well, see, I was not born there. I was not raised there. Thank God he was gracious to me. And I wasn't raised in that part of the country. Sorry for anyone from upstate New York. So no, it wouldn't have been Flutie Flakes, but I do remember them. And and plus I would, the first time that I got interested in like Wheaties was when Dale Earnhardt was on the Wheaties box. So that was like the first time I ever wanted to try anything plain because Dale Earnhardt was on the box. But no, it wouldn't have been Flutie Flakes. I did have a box though of Wheaties with Troy Aikman on it because I'm a Cowboys fan. But okay. I'm not watching the NFL this year. I got my reasons. That's another show. But there you go. Enjoy your old people cereal.
Man, Lee, I think we opened up a can of worms here.
I probably haven't had mini.
Wait.
Since I was 12 years old.
Canadian Oreos and Canadian chocolate milk is better than U.S. stuff. I don't care what anyone says. You can argue with me, hate me, whatever. Going up to Canada to get some double stuffed Oreos, they're a little bit thicker, and to get their chocolate milk. I'm just telling you, Lee, when you come up here, you're going to have some Oreos, some chocolate milk, and some Dots pretzels. I'm going to take you to the factory, Dots pretzels. If you haven't tried those.
Dots pretzels are good.
Look,
if you need some, Melanie, let me know.
We have them here.
I go down to the factory.
My time spent in Toronto, nobody told me to try Oreos in Canada and that they were better. I love Oreos, so I got to go back. To Toronto and do that. I will say this. The bacon sandwiches at St. Lawrence Market in Toronto, oh my goodness.
All right. We're turning this into a food show. Jeez.
Yeah, it's called a food show. It definitely has. But all drag racers love to eat. They do.
Absolutely.
They do.
That's why we're getting on Justin's workout plan for the off season.
I definitely need to. Yes.
My workout plan and my diet is starting today.
There you go.
Right, John?
Oh, Melanie, we've enjoyed it. Thank you for your time.
All right. Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
Appreciate it. Sam, man, so I think we blew up at the hit of the throttle and it has just hung and we've been on fire ever since. We got to shut this thing down.
We've been on fire. We tried to jump out the car. We've done the roll. Safety Safari has tried to bring us back to the paramedics trailer, and we're just not listening. But what I can say is that we did reach our cruising altitude. I didn't get to let you know that. We had no turbulence in sight, and we've made it down to our destination. I think we had another successful, little over an hour, but another episode of the Power Hour by Competition Plus. Guys and girls, if you have not done already, please like and share these. Go over to Lee's stuff and click on him. Support Lee, support myself, Slammin Sam. But most importantly, Competition Plus, go over there to get all the news that you can believe.
Yeah.
And like and share it. And get your Competition Plus apparel so you can be styling with that fresh swag when you go to the racetrack.
Right. Get that apparel. Folks, look, you can find me, the Monday Morning Racer, as Monday Morning Racer on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter. Thursday night, 8 o'clock, my show, Between the Slicks. I've got Miss Martinez with Power Built Tools and Andy Rawlings, who recently won in a American Motorcycle Association racing and set a record on a Harley nonetheless. So come check that out. Well, we need to get off the track, man. Sam, shut us down.
All right, everybody. Thanks again. Like I said, Competition Plus, Bobby Bennett, Jeff Arend, Justin Ashley, and Melanie Salemi, myself, Slammin Sam, and Monday Morning Racer. We thank you guys all. If you want to check me out, Outlaw Performance ENT on your social medias, and In the Groove podcast on Apple Podcasts, Anchor, Podbean, and wherever you listen to it. But this has been the second episode of the Power Hour. If you got any questions, comments, and concerns, please email us at powerhourcp@gmail.com. Thanks again, and drive fast and take chances.